So he pushed his food aside, put down his phone, grabbed Chris' hands, looked him in the eyes, and said, "Enough distractions. Let's focus on what's right in front of us, right here, right now." To this day, he still believes it was the most romantic thing he has ever said. The conversation flowed effortlessly after that. Eventually, they finished eating and walked to pay. That's when Chris pulled out a $100 bill. He was shocked. To him, $100 felt like too much money to spend on someone like him. He offered to help pay with his credit card. Chris refused. He insisted. Feeling guilty but grateful, they left the restaurant together. He felt like royalty, like a princess. They later walked back to Jeff's truck, where they sat together watching videos and talking. Eventually, they cuddled in the back of the truck. That day, he had his first kiss. Chris jokingly told him he could use some practice, but that it was okay. The two continued sharing cuddles and kisses until his mother called and told him it was time to leave. Chris opened the door for him one last time and walked him back to the car. Before leaving, he kissed Chris on the cheek in front of his mother, then they drove away in opposite directions. Even then, he kept texting Chris reminders not to text while driving and to message him when he arrived home safely. For a while, life felt perfect. Weeks passed. They played games together online. Eventually, he introduced Chris to Ben, and that was when everything started to change. Almost immediately after meeting Ben, Chris became distant. When asked what was wrong, Chris refused to answer. Eventually, he admitted that he was struggling with personal issues. He lost his father and simply wasn't ready to talk about them. Wanting to help, he repeatedly asked Chris what he can do to help. Chris never answered. The silence slowly became painful. He started blaming himself. Maybe it was him. Maybe he had done something wrong. Maybe giving Chris space was the right thing to do. Throughout all of this, Ben remained the friend he leaned on for support. Ben even suggested that maybe it was time to end the relationship. He almost listened, but instead he stayed and tried harder. Every conversation started the same way. "How are you? Are you okay? How was your day? Good morning." Then one day he noticed something strange. Chris' profile now said, "Taken." Confused and hurt, he wondered whether they were even together anymore. Despite the pain, he convinced himself to be happy for Chris. Maybe someone else could help him through whatever he was going through. But privately, he cried to Ben because he had nobody else to turn to. Then one morning, while preparing for class at his technical college, he checked his phone again. This time the profile read, "Taken by the greatest man alive." Suddenly the pieces started fitting together. So he asked the question, "Are you dating Ben?" The answer came back, "Yes." The friend who had rejected him. The friend who claimed he preferred women. The friend who spoke about faith and beliefs that made him think this relationship could never happen. That same friend admitted he had secretly been a femboy himself, but he was just too afraid to say so. He admitted that after meeting Ben, feelings had developed. They had been flirting behind his back while he believed everything was okay. Ben told him Chris had never truly liked him romantically. According to Ben, Chris had simply felt sorry for him. The words hit like a train. He stood outside his classroom, crying in an open public space, surrounded by strangers, feeling embarrassed, heartbroken, and completely blindsided. That day, he blocked both of them. When he got home, he burned the hoodie Chris had given him. Not because it would fix anything, not because it would make the pain disappear, but because it was the only thing he could think to do. He felt used, betrayed, lonely. For a long time afterward, trusting people became difficult. The rest of the day was spent crying and trying to comfort himself with food. Months later, Ben tried reaching out, but before he could say anything, he was blocked once again. And even now, years later, one question still remains. Should he have listened?